Hello everybody, welcome back. Okay, today we're going to learn about amazing inventions. So, we're going to have a look at page 98 and 99, but first, open your book to page 97 and we're just going to go over steam engines, okay? So the steam engine was invented around 1700. For the first time, machines could be used in factories to make more products more quickly. This led to the Industrial Revolution and the creation of more jobs and urban cities. Okay, so when this steam engine was created, it meant that we now have an engine and we can do things much quicker, okay? Because like in complex machines, which is what this steam engine is, it's a complex machine, we don't need to use all of our effort to make things work anymore, okay? So the effort is so much lower. Less effort to make things happen. We have this steam engine, okay? So turn your book to page 98 and 99 and let's have a look at amazing inventions. So let's look at the car. For many centuries, the main way to travel around was by horse and carriage. Now this is a horse and carriage, okay? So this is how people used to get from point A to point B in the olden days, okay? So if you wanted to go from Madrid to Barcelona, you had to use a horse and a carriage. Now, this was not a very quick or fast way to travel, okay? You could only go as fast as the horse went, and so the horse was walking and it had to carry your body and this carriage, okay? So it's very heavy for the horse and you had to stop all the time so that the horse could rest and feed it, okay? So not a very quick way to travel. So the steam engine, what we just talked about, inspired people to make faster machines and create early versions of cars. But it was not until 1885 that the very first car with a petrol engine was invented. Hybrid and electric cars now exist and are much cleaner for the environment. Some companies are even making cars which can drive on their own. Wow. Okay, so first we had a horse and carriage to get around, and then someone invented the car, okay? But they were very, very big and very bad for the environment. And then in 1885, they created the petrol engine, okay? So a car with an engine that has petrol in it. Petrol is what we use now in cars, and it's much better than what they used to use for the environment. And also hybrid and electric cars, okay? So an electric car doesn't even have petrol in it. You charge it like you would charge your phone or your iPad. Hybrid means two, okay? So a hybrid car has petrol and is also electric. So you have a backup petrol tank, but you can charge your car, okay? Now, the aeroplane. In 1903, the Wright brothers invented the aeroplane. It could only fly one person and for 30 minutes. Now aeroplanes can take hundreds of people and go 1,000 kilometers per hour. Some small ones can even go faster than the speed of sound. That is so fast. So you see the aeroplane before you can hear it because it travels faster than sound does. Isn't that crazy? Okay, now I want you to do question 1 and question 2 on this page. Number 1. What energy source did the first real car use? What do they use now? What energy source did the first real car use? So have a read of this. And what do they use now? And number 2, who invented the aeroplane? How long could it fly for? Okay, what energy source did the first real car use? Let's have a look. Petrol. What do they use now? Okay, so now we can have electrical cars that use electricity. Let's see. Yes. So now cars use electricity. The first cars used petrol and now they use electricity. Number 2, who invented the airplane? How long could it fly for? Let's have a read. Who invented the aeroplane? The Wright brothers invented the aeroplane. How long could it fly for? It could only fly one person for 30 minutes. How long is the time? 30 minutes is the answer. Great job. Okay, let's have a look at Amazing Invention 3. To communicate in the past, okay, so to talk to each other. How do we communicate now? How do we communicate now? Yeah, we communicate through our phones. So I can call you up on my phone, or you can text Sarah on WhatsApp, okay? Or your mum can call your dad, okay? So to communicate in the past, people sent letters by horse and carriage and waited weeks for a response. So what they used to do is if you wanted to talk to your auntie, say in Barcelona, and you lived in Madrid, you would have to write her a letter and then somebody would take it on their horse and carriage, okay? And they would travel with this horse and this carriage all the way to Barcelona and drop it off at your auntie's house. That would take weeks and weeks and weeks to do, okay? Now there is technology which lets you contact anyone, anywhere, anytime. This is possible thanks to the communication revolution, okay? The communication revolution, which started with the invention of the telegraph. So the communication revolution is when we went from writing notes, okay, with a pen and paper, and then sending them with our horse and carriage away. Then we had the communication revolution, which meant that we could send messages much, much quicker. And the first thing that was invented was the telegraph. So the telegraph was invented in 1837 by Samuel Morse. People sent messages using a code called Morse code by tapping their fingers to create long or short electrical signals. This meant people could finally send and receive messages almost instantly. So let's have a look at what this was. This is a picture here of a telegram. Okay, so they had this machine here and it was hooked up to wires, and you tapped this button and somebody a long way away would receive this message. So it's not like writing on pen and paper anymore. We are sending electrical signals through this machine to the person we wanted to get the message to, okay? And what they used to do, because you can't write, this is Morse code. So we have these dots and dashes, okay? So if you wanted to send the letter A, you would tap this with quickly and then a little bit longer for a dash. The dots meant it was a really quick time and the dash meant it was a little bit longer time, okay? So every single letter that you wanted to send, you had to do this amount of dots and dashes. So if you wanted to say Kush, I would have to go dash, dot, dash, dot, 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 dash, dot, 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 dot. Okay, that's how long it would take for me to write Kush. So this still took a really long time, but it meant to write, but it meant that you could get your messages almost instantly. This was an amazing invention, okay? And then we had the telephone. The telephone was invented in 1876 by Alexander Graham Bell. It converted sound into an electrical signal that traveled in cables. Smartphones were invented around the year 2000. They act as both a phone and a computer. So then we invented the telephone, okay? And what you used to do is you would call somebody up like this, and you would have, this is a microphone, you would talk into the microphone and you would listen in this earpiece here. And you would dial them up, and then it would go to a company and you would say, I want to talk to my auntie please, this is her number. And they would take a wire and connect your wire to your auntie's wire, okay? So it was very complicated. And then in 2000, we had the smartphone, which is what we all use now. And we can just call anybody we want at any time, and we can look up anything. It acts like a phone and a computer, okay? So everybody have a look at question 4, 5, and 6, and I want you to write them in your book. Let's do question 4. Which invention did the telephone evolve from? The telegraph. Good job. So first we had this telegraph, and then we had the telephone. The telegraph, you had to send dots, whereas the telephone you could talk into. What do you call the code used for a telegraph? We call the code, send messages using a code called Morse code, okay? And everybody, using this picture here, I want you to write your name in Morse code in your book, okay? And send it to Sarah. And also, question number 6. Nowadays, people use social media networking sites to communicate. Do you use them? What are some advantages and disadvantages of this form of communication? Okay, in your book, I want you to answer question 3 on page 98 and question 6 on page 99. Okay, remember you can use this useful language box here. And I want you to really have a think about what the advantages and disadvantages of this form of communication are. Okay, do you use social networking sites? Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, okay, Snapchat, anything. And number 3, self-driving cars use GPS, radar, and other technologies to drive. Would you ever use a car that self-drove? What do you think can be good or bad about these cars, okay? So everybody, I want you to write question 3 and question 6 in your book, okay, to practice our writing and also our thinking skills. And have a fabulous day. I will see you later. Goodbye.